Good day. Today I'm going over the shareholder loan template. You might ask what the shareholder loan is. This only makes sense if there are shareholders in your business, so this would be relevant to a corporation or an LLC. When you form these entities, you are forming a brand new entity that is, separated from your personal being. So you may be a shareholder of the company, you may be an owner, you might be an employee of the company. But these are two separate entities now that have their own resources, own tax returns, and really they should be completely separate. So what the shareholder loan does, it's one of the greatest benefits of becoming a shareholder and a business owner, is that it's where you can use your personal expenses that you contribute to the business and you get reimbursed for them, or you can take the income back instead of declaring it as income in your business. So anytime that you contribute personal resources or spend money on behalf of the corporation, the shareholder loan is there as a mechanism to pay you back for those contributions. So I'm going to go over the shareholder loan template now, and it should be very clear on how this comes together and give you the information that you can enter into your accounting system and get the credit you deserve for contributing resources to your corp or your LLC. So I'm going to go ahead and share now. I will bring myself up as well. Okay, here we are. So here's the template itself. It's in an Excel document. There's a summary here that has pulls all of these tabs together to give you your final entry, and I'll come to this at the very end. But I'll go tab by tab. So for meals, for example, this would be entering all the meals that you spend personal funds on during travel, during working in the field, pursuing new business, looking at opportunities, working out in the field as mentioned. So one thing I will mention here is that in Canada and in some areas of the United States, 50% of meals are actually deductible. And that includes sales tax in this specific example. But as a shareholder, if you spend $10 on a meal and there's 15% sales tax, there would be $1.50 of tax, so the total will be $11.50. The shareholder gets reimbursed for the full $11.50, and then the corporation then does the 50% tax rate application of that expense on the meal itself and also the sales tax that comes with it. But the shareholder always gets full amount back, and then the corporation is the one that only can deduct the 50%. The next tab I have here is home office. And home office deductions are extremely common, and again, a great way to get reimbursed for expenses that you were spending money on anyway. So you have two kind of routes when you get paid from your corporation. One would be obviously to be taking income, so you pay tax on that, income tax. But if you're using some of these areas like the home office expense, this portion would be non-taxable in forms of income because it's paying you back for what you've contributed to the company. So I'll kind of walk through this with you. So I've got a simple example here. So say your total home square feet is 2,000 square feet. You have 200 square feet designated to an office space. It gives you this 10% ratio saying that 10% of everything you spend inside your home is now applicable for the home office expense deduction. So I have the recurring items that you put in once, and you should be able to duplicate this template every month because a lot of this stuff does not change. For example, internet. Mortgage interest is one of the greatest opportunities here because it's very large typically for homeowners that have a mortgage, and this can be applied on the home office deduction. You have property taxes, power, fuel, utilities, water, cleaning, insurance. These are recurring items. You also are entitled to claim maintenance items, repair and maintenance items for your home and upkeep. So these could be building maintenance, lawn, paint, services, a trip to Home Depot. All of these items would be able to be put in here. This gives you a total office expense, and then it multiplies it by the allocation that you've created up here to give you a total rent and office deduction. Since you are a homeowner, and I will assume in most cases that you do not pay HST, this is registered as a residential home. There is no HST. Since you are not an HST registrant as an individual, you do not get to claim ITCs or tax credits for these expenses. So I always remove them. These would be pre-HST. Moving on. I have a travel area here, which would be airfare, parking, car wash, transportation, tolls, anything of that nature would go in this section. And then in the expense section, I've given you a bunch of opportunities to have different categories. So office supplies, software expense, and I've given you some examples here as well. Professional development, training, telephone expenses, and then there's this other section here just called other, which if I change this to, and I'll just put insurance, it updates it over here on your summary as well. So this is an area where you can customize it based on expenses that I may not have provided here. And then additionally, I have mileage. I've given you a few rates for 2026 for CRA and also the IRS. So what you do here is you put down the date of your travel, the distance, the reason, take it to a client or project, and it's going to give you a dollar amount down there that you can claim for use of your personal vehicle. This is not applicable if you have a vehicle within your company. And I've uploaded a mileage log as a separate template, which you can use to track essentially your travel and your mileage with the company used vehicle. You might ask why. Well, if CRA or the IRS ever audits you for use of that vehicle in terms of using it for personal use or personal benefit, a mileage log will be sure to give them the information they need to guarantee that the vehicle is just used for commercial purposes. Once you fill out these tabs with your meals, your home office, your travel, your expenses, your mileage, it'll all flow to this summary, which is a journal entry that you can enter directly into QuickBooks. So you can go to the journal entry function, you can enter in this journal entry monthly, so you can stay on top of what the company owes you. So when you take money out of your corporation, you're taking it out straight out, not being taxed, being applied income tax. This allows you to get full amount back because the company owes you for personal expenses that you've contributed, personal vehicle, personal home office, and things that you've spent money on for the corporation with your own personal funds. This is also useful when you're starting up a company and you've been spending money personally until the corporation got set up, or your bank accounts were put together, or you got credit cards. So this would be very useful for bringing in all those personal expenses to load those in from the onset when you're starting your company before you get some banking and financial infrastructure in place. So use this tool. I've also mentioned here, keep in mind, if you're spending money outside of the country or in different states or provinces, typically that sales tax is not claimable because you're on different tax systems. So if you're in Canada and I'm in Florida, if there's sales tax there, I'm an HST registrant, not a sales tax registrant in Florida, so I can't claim those amounts. If you have a mileage log, talking about and listing and recording all of your travel, it would be good to have two of these consistent. And all of these items can be purchased with a corporate credit card inside your company. So once your company has a little bit of credit, it's great to have a credit card so you can put things directly through the business itself and they'll flow right through your accounting software so you don't have to do this exercise. But your home office and rent, for example, as these are recurring expenses that you're spending personally each month, you never really can use a corporate credit card for these. So this, if you have home office and it's applicable to you, this tool will be useful every single month to make sure that you get credit for the office space that you're contributing to the business with your personal residence. I hope this is helpful. I hope this tool brings you, some structure and some organization in your business. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.